push up from chair to stand. This is a sign that one of my friends put on his mom's walker. She is no longer with us, and he gave me the walker. I love it. It's pink. Anybody who knows me knows that I celebrate breast cancer awareness. I wear my pink on the 12th of every month because locally we do that here. The 12th, we had a newscaster that was diagnosed with breast cancer, so I always wear my pink. But today we're talking about walkers. This right here, this thing right here, is what in the business we call a rolling walker, okay? It has two legs on the back, they have the sliders on there, and then two wheels on the front. Sometimes you'll see tennis balls on there. I've seen all manner of things. They do wear out over time. We're upstairs here in my man cave, so you can see the carpeting and everything like that. But I keep the sign on there because I just love when I demonstrate things to people. I love what that meant. So first of all, let's start here. The overall width of a walker is going to have to be measured to the wheels, okay? Because that's the widest part. If you're looking at the walker, that's the widest part. So if we go wheel to wheel, we got 24.5 inches. Now, if I take this walker and I'm standing here with my hands on the walker, my knuckles stick out even further than the wheels do, which means that 24.5 inches really needs to be about 26.5 inches, something like that. And that's just to clear the knuckles. That's not even for wiggle room if somebody doesn't have the best balance or anything like that. So that's why we're looking at, one of the previous videos you saw me looking at the bathroom door, because the bathroom door was 28 inches wide. That's not a lot of clearance for knuckles. And if we know one thing about folks, as they get older, the skin gets thinner and we get skin tears very easily. So one of the things that I like to do to cut down on the risk of falls is if you look at this wheel, there's a little nut that sticks out here, okay? So now I just measured the width of the wheel. I didn't even go the extra half inch there. If we had an extra half inch on each side, that's 26 inches. You can see how this would be a problem. It can catch on door frames and doorways and everything, and it doesn't take much to get them to roll and twist. So when I am working with a patient, a lot of times the first thing that I'll do is take their walker, flip it over while I'm talking to them, take note of what setting it's on because I don't want to change anything that the physical therapist did. But then I usually tell a funny story about how these are all shipped from China with the wheels on the inside, and I'm convinced that the Chinese are trying to kill all of us, but they keep going after the older, slower ones that use walkers, and that's the reason why they're never going to win. And usually that gets a good rise out of the older folks that I work with. But now you can see I put the wheels on the inside, okay? It's not going to do anything about the precious knuckles, but if we're worried about a trip hazard, the knuckles aren't going to make us fall. This little nut sticking out, catching on the edge of a door, absolutely going to make somebody fall. All right? So now we got a narrower walker, right? Now, if you're looking at me, I'm 6'1". The lady who had this before was not 6'1". But if I tilt this up a little bit, so you can see, there we go. All right, so now when I'm standing here, you can see that my arms are straight. That means telltale sign, walker's too low. It's going to promote me leaning on the walker, okay? You can see I'm making some grooves in the carpet, right? So what we would do as therapists is we'd raise this thing up. Now, I'm just going to go all the way to the top. That way we can see the difference between these two settings. All right. There we go. All right, there we go. Now we've got the walker set up. Okay, now what you can see is I've got a slight bend in my elbows, okay? Now, I will adjust a walker if I think that it's appropriate to adjust the walker, but for the most part, I leave that to the physical therapist because it's just something that they do. I am not concerned about how you move from point A to point B. I'm more concerned about when you get to point B that you get there safely and that you have a place to safely land. However, I will say this. I have seen walkers that are this tall. I've seen walkers that are this tall. I've seen walkers that are this wide. I've seen walkers that are this narrow. I've seen every shape and size of walker. And the one thing that's common between all of them is that folks start to lean over and they start to lean on the walker. In my experience, having a taller walker doesn't necessarily help, because if it gets too tall, they end up putting their elbows on the walker. So no, a tall walker isn't going to keep somebody from falling. But if it works for them temporarily, that's great. Short walker, obviously if we get the arms straight, that's a problem. And you can see even with this thing adjusted up, I don't really have much of a bend in my elbow. What I really like to see is, if this is the power position for the arms, I'd like to see something like this, but we've got a walker that makes us push down. So maybe we need to redesign the walker. But in the meantime, I'm gonna leave it up to somebody else. In the meantime, we can't fix the hand position, but we can get the arms in the right position. So really, for somebody my height, the ideal position is about right here, which means that this walker would have to be raised up about 4 or 5 more inches, something like that. But if you're going to adjust a walker, that's what I recommend. Have the patient stand inside of the walker, take their hands, put them just like if this is 90, maybe 110, 120 degrees, something like that, and you have them put their hands on the walker. If they can maintain that 120 degrees, that means that they're getting lots of power from the tricep muscle, the muscle that holds us up, right? The muscle that extends the elbow, that muscle. And that means that they're going to get their hands on the walker and be able to get a better grip, because the walker fits within the palm of the hand. So anatomically, it's designed to fit there. You see people that walk like this. I've seen people that walk like this. I mean, this video could go on forever. But the point of this video was to show you, number one, switch the wheels. Every time, switch the wheels. The extra base of support isn't going to make that much of a difference. And if it does make that much of a difference to somebody's balance, they probably shouldn't be walking. The other important part was how to adjust a walker. There are these little metal compression thingies. You push in on it and you adjust it up and down. Like I said, this walker was not meant for me. But I would still like to, if I needed a walker, I would still want my arms about right here. Again, we still got to deal with the wrist thing. But I'd still want my arms about right here. That way I get a good push down with the lat muscles, a good push down with the shoulder muscles, a good push down with the tricep muscles. That way we can maintain a good erect posture. Posture is where we get our balance from. If our posture is bad, then our balance is going to not be very good. So that's it for the walker. The next video up is going to be the rollator. That should be fun. All right.